I'm James Chow. This is the news. Our first story today takes us straight to China. Now, the chairman of the Mainland Base Association for Relations Across the Taiwan Straits is beginning a historic 5-day visit. The delegation is led by Chen Yunlin, and he touched down about 10 minutes ago, as we said, in Taipei. So let's look back at some of those pictures that we recorded just a few minutes ago and bring you up to date on all the latest on that. And here are the pictures. You can see Chen Yunlin walking out of this Air China jet, which landed at about 11:50, which was exactly 10 minutes ago. It is at the start of a historic 5-day visit to Taipei. The airport there is Taiwan, of course, and lots of celebrations. Earlier we could see hordes of press waiting on the other side of the line, and these are the officials that you can see over here, and welcome banners and flowers, of course. After this, he's going to go directly to the Grand Hotel before his important talk that is scheduled for early on Tuesday. But ahead of all that, this afternoon he will visit the wife of Gu Chengfu, the former chairman of the Taiwan-based Straits Exchange Foundation, who passed away 3 years ago. And later this evening, Chen will attend the SEF's welcoming dinner. Now, high on the agenda of Chen's itinerary during this 5-day visit is a meeting with the chairman of the Taiwan Straits Exchange Foundation, Jiang Bingpeng. Now, as we said, that takes place early on Tuesday. Of course, economic issues, including an extension of the weekend cross-straits chartered flights and tours of mainland citizens in Taiwan, are set to dominate those talks. And of course, a number of agreements are expected to be signed also on that same afternoon. If you're just joining us, we're looking at pictures from Taipei's Taiwan Airport of Chen Yunlin arriving at the start of his 5-day visit, and we'll have more details on that later on in our program. Now, from the historic Wanggu meeting in 1993 to the Chengjiang meeting earlier this year, the latest visit comes at the end of many ups and downs. Let's take a look at some of the historic moments in the progression of their talks.
On June 12th this year, the Beijing Daoyutai State Guesthouse played host to this symbolic handshake. The chairman of ARETS, Chen Yunlin, and the chairman of SEF, Chang Ping-kun, were holding talks between the two organizations for the first time in nearly 10 years. Back in 1992, the two organizations held negotiations in Hong Kong, reaching the famed 1992 consensus. 1 year later, in 1993, ARETS chairman Wang Daohan and SEF chairman Gu Chengfu held talks in Singapore. It was the first public meeting between high-level figures from across the Straits since 1949. The meeting between Wang and Gu established an institutionalized negotiation mechanism, marking an important step forward in cross-Straits relations. During the Wang-Gu meeting, 4 agreements were signed to promote trade and people-to-people exchanges. After the meeting, more than 20 consultations at different levels were held. 5 years later, in 1998, Wang and Gu shook hands again in Shanghai. They reached a consensus on 4 points involving dialogue across the Straits on political issues. Regrettably, Wang's planned visit to Taiwan Island for his 3rd meeting with Gu had to be put off indefinitely. That's because the Taiwan leader at the time, Lee Teng-hui, introduced his two-states theory in July of 1999, defining cross-straits ties as a so-called state-to-state relationship. The two honorable men passed away several years later, but fulfilling their dream of pushing forward cross-straits ties has continued to motivate people on both sides. And after a 10-year delay, the chairman of ARETS finally arrived in Taiwan. Before leaving for the island, Chen said the visit would be a milestone of historical significance for the relations of the two sides.
The talks between ARETS and SEF has suspended for nearly 10 years, which made us lose too many precious opportunities and left too many problems to be solved. If the negotiation mechanism cannot be settled, the interests of the people from both sides of the Taiwan Straits will be harmed. We have no reason to delay our efforts on pushing forward the cross-straits relations and benefiting our Taiwan compatriots.
The Their previous talks in June reached consensus on various issues, including opening chartered flights on weekends across the Taiwan Strait and allowing mainland tourists to travel to Taiwan, benefiting people on both sides of the straits.
Taiwan authorities say all is ready for the arrival of 2 pandas from the mainland, including their new home in Taipei's Muzha Zoo. The panda pair should arrive at the end of the month. The zoo has spent millions of new Taiwan dollars in building a new panda hall. Officials are expecting huge turnouts of panda fans to visit the new stars. The zoo is going to adopt a quota system to limit the number of visitors in a bid to help the pandas adjust to their new popularity. The pair, called Tuan Tuan and Yuan Yuan, will arrive in Taipei in about a month's time. If everything goes according to plan, they'll make their public debut in Taipei by the end of January next year. Chen Yunlin, who as we saw earlier has just arrived in Taipei, will formally announce the arrival of the pandas at a ceremony on Thursday. He'll also meet with Taipei Mayor Hao Longbin to discuss the animals' transfer. Meanwhile, Honorary Kuomintang Chairman Lian Zhan will meet the press together with Chen for the handover of the pandas.